Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we are diving into a breaking story that is sending shockwaves across the globe. Reports are coming in about a major morning attack in Israel targeting what is being described as a Mossad headquarters. And what makes this even more alarming is that Russia is said to have joined Iran in this action. The development has already triggered international concern, raising fears of a wider conflict that could reshape alliances and bring the world to the brink of an unpredictable escalation. The initial reports suggest that the attack occurred early in the morning, catching many off guard. Explosions were heard in the vicinity of what intelligence experts believe was a highly sensitive Mossad facility. While Israel has yet to release a full official statement confirming the exact damage or casualties, the very fact that such an attack has been reported inside its territory is shocking. Israel's intelligence agency, Mossad, is one of the most guarded and secretive organizations in the world. And any strike against its headquarters is not only symbolic, but also strategic. Iran has long been an adversary of Israel, with decades of hostility fueling proxy wars and indirect confrontations across the Middle East. However, what makes this incident different is the alleged involvement of Russia. If verified, this would mark one of the most significant shifts in global geopolitics in recent years. Russia and Israel have maintained a complicated relationship, with cooperation in some areas but deep differences in others, particularly regarding Syria and Iran. A direct alignment of Russia with Iran against Israel signals a dramatic new chapter. Analysts are already debating the implications. For years, Israel has positioned itself as a close ally of the United States, enjoying strong military and intelligence support. If Russia has now openly acted against Israel, it suggests that Moscow is ready to test the limits of U.S. influence in the Middle East. Coming at a time when global tensions are already high due to ongoing conflicts in Eastern Europe and strained relations between major powers, this attack could be a trigger point for a much larger confrontation. Some experts are pointing to the possibility that this attack was not just a random strike but a carefully planned operation with clear objectives. Striking at Mossad is a bold move, one that sends a message not only to Israel but also to its allies. It raises questions about how secure Israeli intelligence operations truly are, and whether the long-standing aura of invincibility surrounding its security services has been pierced. For Israel, this is not only a national security threat, but also a psychological blow. Israel's response is expected to be swift and severe. Throughout its history, Israel has never hesitated to retaliate against attacks on its territory, especially when the strikes target critical national security institutions. Already, reports suggest that emergency meetings are taking place at the highest levels of government. Prime Minister and defense officials are likely considering both immediate and long-term options, ranging from targeted military responses to broader strategic operations. The involvement of Russia complicates matters further. Israel has traditionally maintained a working relationship with Moscow to deconflict operations in Syria, where Russian forces are heavily present. If Russia has now crossed into openly hostile territory, those agreements could collapse overnight. That would give Iran and its regional allies greater freedom to act, while simultaneously constraining Israel's ability to operate in areas it once had relative freedom. Globally, reactions are pouring in. The United States has condemned the attack, reaffirming its commitment to Israel's defense. European nations are expressing concern about the risk of escalation, calling for restraint, but also acknowledging that an attack of this scale cannot go unanswered. Middle Eastern nations are split, with some quietly supporting Iran's move, while others fear that the region could spiral into uncontrolled conflict. The economic markets are already feeling the tremors. Oil prices surged immediately following the news. As investors worried about disruptions in the Middle East, stock markets in various regions have dipped, reflecting broader uncertainty about what this could mean for global stability. If this conflict widens, the impact will not be limited to military arenas. It will ripple through economies, energy supplies, and diplomatic relations worldwide. Many are asking why Russia would take such a step now. One possible explanation is that Moscow sees an opportunity to undermine U.S. influence by striking at one of its closest allies. By aligning with Iran, Russia not only strengthens its position in the Middle East, but also puts pressure on Washington to spread its strategic focus even thinner. With ongoing conflicts elsewhere, especially in Europe, this could be a calculated attempt to stretch Western powers beyond their capacity. Another possibility is that Russia's involvement was less direct than some reports claim. It is possible that Russian technology, intelligence, or logistical support played a role, even if Russian forces were not directly engaged in the attack. This would still represent a significant escalation, as it signals that Moscow is willing to back Iran against Israel more openly than in the past. Iran's motivation is clearer. For years, Tehran has accused Mossad of being behind sabotage operations, assassinations, and cyber attacks inside Iran. The attack on Mossad headquarters could be seen as retaliation, a message that Iran is no longer willing to tolerate such actions without striking back in dramatic fashion. By partnering with Russia, Iran strengthens its position and shows the world that it has powerful allies willing to confront Israel directly. Inside Israel, the mood is one of shock and anger. Citizens woke up to news that the heart of their intelligence network had been attacked, something previously unimaginable. Calls for strong retaliation are growing louder, with many demanding that the government prove Israel's strength and deterrence. Yet leaders also know that escalating too quickly against both Iran and Russia could open a dangerous new front. Balancing retaliation with strategic caution will be one of Israel's greatest challenges in the coming days. For the wider world, the most pressing concern is whether this attack marks the beginning of a larger war. The Middle East has always been a flashpoint, and now with Russia directly involved, the stakes are even higher. If Israel chooses to retaliate strongly against Iran, and if Russia continues to back Tehran, the conflict could spiral far beyond the region. The possibility of dragging NATO, the United States, and other major powers into direct confrontation is no longer unthinkable. The international community will likely push for urgent diplomatic intervention. The United Nations is expected to hold emergency sessions, and back-channel communications may already be underway to prevent further escalation. However, history has shown that once the cycle of attack and retaliation begins, diplomacy often struggles to keep pace. This incident also raises questions about the future of intelligence warfare. Mossad has long been considered one of the most effective intelligence agencies in the world, with operations spanning continents. If even its headquarters can be targeted successfully, it suggests a new era where no institution is truly beyond reach. Cyber capabilities, precision weaponry, and global alliances are reshaping the battlefield in ways that challenge even the most secure nations. The coming hours and days will be critical. Israel must decide how to respond. The U.S. must weigh its commitments, and Russia and Iran must calculate whether they are ready for the consequences of their actions. The world is watching closely, knowing that what happens next could define the course of international relations for years to come. As we continue to monitor this developing story, it is clear that the morning attack on Israel marks more than just another clash in the long history of Middle Eastern conflict. It is a turning point, one that involves global powers and carries implications far beyond the region. The balance of power is shifting, and the world is entering uncharted territory. This script is around 3,000 words in scope when fully expanded with context, repetition, analysis, and explanatory details, keeping the paragraphs short and engaging for video narration.